In the world of combat sports, the story of James Butler Jr. is one that serves as a stark reminder of how the sport,
James Butler from New York City, is ranked number 8 by the IBF.
while celebrated for its athleticism and discipline, can also attract individuals whose actions raise serious moral and ethical questions. James Butler Jr., a fighter whose career would come to be defined by a horrific act of violence,
will be the first test for the new commissioner, Ray Kelly, and I know that he will handle this the right way.
is remembered not for his prowess in the ring, but for the devastating and cruel incident that forever altered his legacy. This is the story of James Butler Jr., a boxer whose name became synonymous with pure evil in the world of sports. It's a chilling tale of a man who, in the midst of competition, lost control and committed an unforgivable act of brutality. Butler's descent from a promising athlete to a criminal who shattered the lives of others is a tragic and haunting journey. Let's dive deep into the life of James Butler Jr., exploring his rise in the sport, his dark turn, and a horrific moment that would change everything. James Butler Jr.'s early career. A rising star. Born in Chicago, Illinois, James Butler Jr. began his boxing career at a young age, showing promise early on. He entered the world of boxing with a natural talent that allowed him to make a name for himself in the ring. Known for his raw power and aggressive fighting style, Butler quickly gained recognition in the boxing community, earning a reputation as a formidable opponent. His rise through the ranks of the sport was initially met with excitement, as many believed Butler had the potential to make a real impact in the middleweight division. By the early 2000s, Butler had turned professional, and his career seemed to be on an upward trajectory. With a series of wins and his aggressive nature in the ring, he started to garner attention, and his future in the sport looked promising. However, despite his physical talent, Butler's career would soon take a dark and disturbing turn. Behind the scenes, trouble was brewing, and the very qualities that made him a feared competitor in the ring were about to manifest in the most horrific way possible. The dark side of James Butler Jr. James Butler Jr.'s personal life was marked by instability and violence long before the tragic events that would define his career. There were whispers of anger management issues, personal struggles, and a volatile temperament that he had difficulty controlling. These issues were amplified as Butler faced the pressures of professional boxing, financial struggles, personal demons, and the high expectations placed on him as an up-and-coming fighter. Butler's mental state seemed to deteriorate as his boxing career continued, and in the world of combat sports, such instability is a dangerous thing. Rather than being channeled into disciplined training and controlled aggression, his emotions seemed to spiral out of control, putting him on a collision course with disaster. Butler's troubling behavior wasn't limited to the ring. In fact, there were multiple incidents throughout his career that hinted at the possibility of violence beyond the sport. Reports of altercations with trainers, fellow fighters, and even members of his own team began to surface, casting a shadow over his promising career. Despite this, Butler remained active in the sport, driven by his own desire for success. The infamous incident, a night that would change everything. The defining moment in James Butler Jr.'s life, the event that would forever stain his legacy, occurred on November 23, 2001. Butler was fighting Richard Grant in a middleweight bout at Madison Square Garden. What should have been a routine match, a test of skill, endurance, and sportsmanship, would instead be remembered for an act of pure evil. After a competitive fight, Butler was declared the winner by decision, but it was what happened after the bell rang that would send shockwaves through the boxing community. As the fighters shook hands and exchanged words in the post-fight protocol, Butler suddenly, without warning, struck Richard Grant with a savage sucker punch, an unprovoked attack to the back of Grant's head. The punch landed with a sickening thud, knocking Grant unconscious instantly. Grant had already turned to walk away, and Butler's attack, which was a blatant violation of every rule of sportsmanship, left Grant crumpled on the canvas. The move was so unexpected, so brutal, that the crowd, commentators, and even the officials were left in utter disbelief. Grant was rushed to the hospital, where he was treated for severe head injuries, including a fractured skull. His life was forever changed by Butler's actions, as the attack left him with lasting health complications. The sport of boxing, which had always been a brutal contest of skill, was now stained with a kind of violence that went far beyond the acceptable boundaries of the ring. The aftermath. The fall of a boxer. The repercussions of Butler's actions were swift and severe. The boxing community, already struggling with the reputation of being a violent and sometimes dangerous sport, was appalled by the unprovoked nature of Butler's attack. The response was immediate. Butler was banned from boxing by the New York State Athletic Commission, and his career came to a grinding halt. Despite the fact that Butler's actions led to criminal charges, the damage to his reputation was irreversible. He was charged with assault, and though the legal process would drag on, the boxing community turned its back on him. The act of violence overshadowed any previous accomplishments in his career, and his once promising future was shattered in a single, unforgivable moment. Butler, who had once shown potential as a boxer, was now reduced to a cautionary tale, a warning to other athletes about the dangers of uncontrolled rage and violence. In the years following the attack on Richard Grant, Butler's life would continue to spiral downward. While he'd attempted to make a comeback in boxing, his actions had left him with little support from promoters, trainers, and fans. The reputation he had built over the years was destroyed, and his attempt at redemption seemed futile. James Butler Jr.'s legacy, a cautionary tale. James Butler Jr.'s story serves as a dark chapter in the world of combat sports, a tale of a boxer who, despite his natural talent, became a symbol of the dangers of unchecked aggression and mental instability. His rise to prominence was overshadowed by his eventual fall from grace, and the tragedy of his actions has left a scar on the sport of boxing. Butler's legacy is not defined by his wins or his punches in the ring. Rather, it is forever tainted by that single, heinous act of violence. The sucker punch that ended Richard Grant's night, and possibly his career, has defined Butler's legacy, and it serves as a reminder of how fragile the line is between athletic competition and pure evil. While Butler's name may never be fully erased from the history of boxing, it will always be remembered for the wrong reasons. In the years since the incident, there have been calls for greater accountability and oversight in combat sports, particularly in regard to athlete behavior outside the ring. The sport, which prides itself on discipline and respect, was forever changed by James Butler Jr.'s brutal actions. In conclusion, the life and career of James Butler Jr. offer a tragic lesson. They remind us that the same qualities that make a great fighter, aggression, determination, and focus, can, when taken to extremes, lead to devastation. Butler's legacy is a somber one, marked by violence, regret, and a ruined future. His story will forever be a cautionary tale in the world of sports, reminding athletes and fans alike of the thin line between competition and brutality. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the pure evil of James Butler Jr. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from the world of sports. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Butler's actions, and what do you believe should be done to prevent similar tragedies in the future?